Hey folks, welcome to Milosevic Live, and today we have a special guest. I'm really honored and privileged to introduce this lady to you. Probably already know her. She was featured in a great movie of all time, I have to say. It's called The Secret. Also, she's a published author, a bestseller author of seven best-selling books. And the latest one is called
Abundance Now.
Abundance Now, exactly. She touched the lives of over 50 million people around the world, and today she is with us in South Africa. Without further ado, folks, welcome Lisa Nichols.
Hi, Milan.
Lisa, how you been?
It's wonderful to see you and to be with you.
Thank you so much for being here and share your wisdom, and I'm really beyond honored and privileged to have you here with us. I just want to ask you a few questions, just if you can share a couple of wisdom from your side. You've been in business and you experienced a lot of different things in your life. Your story is absolutely amazing and inspiring.
Thank you.
Every single moment I'm spending with you, I feel like I'm learning always something new.
Yeah, amen.
So Lisa, what can you say to our young boys and girls right now in the world and also in South Africa that are struggling with depression and we've been there, both of us.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
When you don't really know what's going to happen next. You're watching the news, everything's bad.
Yeah.
And what advice can you really give them?
You know, one thing I would say is, as difficult as it might feel at times, remember that your now does not equal your future. Your yesterday does not equal your future. Your past does not equal your future. As hard as it is, because you don't know what you don't know about what's going to happen. So trust me when I say your past does not equal your future. Your past, in fact, is a setup for your future. That your past, you experienced it to build resiliency, perseverance, determination. I know none of those things sound sexy and exciting, but you're going to pull on all of them. That's number one. Number two is to remember that other people's opinion of you ain't none of your business, which is why it's in their head. So don't get caught up with trying to control what people think about you. Be committed to your own truth. That's number two. And number three, you have the ability to teach the lessons and be the person that your parents can't even imagine. You have the ability to teach them through your life journey. That your parents are going to love you and parent you out of their greatest desires for your life and their greatest fears. Remember that. Remember that you get to choose the person you want to become, irregardless of anything you've been taught or told. And that most times our parents are trying to prevent failure and prevent sadness and harm more than they know how to produce possibility. Those three things I tell them.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Now, another thing I would like you to ask you to share a bit of advice as well. Right now, we're in South Africa, experience a lot of different things happening, especially ladies are experiencing more than men in terms of bad things, like in terms of rapes and being really mistreated in one way or another, and somehow it turns back to the men as well. So, yesterday, watching you online, right, you get a note, please don't go out, there's a protest happening. You say, yes, that's exactly, I got to go out, right?
Right.
So
the note said, avoid this part because there's a protest taking place. And I said, okay, well, what's the protest?
Right.
And when I found out that the protest was against violence towards women, I thought that's exactly where I need to be, right in the middle of the protest.
Right. So how was that experience? I mean, what kind of advice would you give to the ladies who've been experienced that before, probably even right now they're feeling, and I know for a fact, some of the ladies, they're even feeling afraid to go out because am I the next one?
Right. That was on a lot of signs yesterday. Am I the next?
Right. So what kind of advice can you give it to them?
So number one, I'm not just giving advice to women. These are my sisters. I was molested when I was 5. And I was physically abused when my son was 3 years old. He turns 25 this year. So I know intimately the impact. At 19, I was suicidal because all the thoughts and the memories came back to me and I couldn't manage them. And I realized, Milan, that I didn't want to die when I was suicidal. And I had 8 extra strength pills in my hand. And the only reason why I didn't take them was because I didn't know if 8 pills would work, and that was all I had. It wasn't that I had some epiphany. I remember in that moment, it wasn't that I wanted to die. I just wanted the pain to stop. Fast forward, when I was physically abused, I was picked up and thrown 3 feet across the room. I was choked until I passed out. I went to the doctor after that, and I was diagnosed clinically depressed. And I remember looking at myself in the mirror, and I had become unrecognizable to me. So I say to my sisters, if you are in a situation where you feel like your voice is being suppressed, your truth is being suppressed, your physical being is in danger, your emotions are being abused. My former fiance emotionally abused me long before he ever touched me. So I thought the abuse happened in those two situations. The abuse had happened for probably 2 years. I just wasn't aware of emotional abuse. And because I was so lonely, and because I wasn't loving Lisa yet, I didn't require healthy love. So I tell my sisters, until you fall madly in love with you, you will never require healthy love. It wasn't about going to get a man that could love me right. It was about being the woman that would love me right. It was about falling madly in love with Lisa, so much so that I understood with anything that didn't look like the love I gave myself. You cannot recognize something that you're not providing yourself. So until I gave myself healthy love, I couldn't recognize healthy love. And so don't go do anything out there. I say fill up your own tank. Don't serve the world from a half empty cup or a bone dry cup. Fill up your cup. Don't even serve the world from your full cup. Keep filling up your cup and serve the world from your overflow. As you know, I've said to you before. And so I say it all the time, I had to fall madly in love with Lisa. I don't say that as a way to glamorize Lisa, to grow Lisa. Falling madly in love with Lisa was about understanding my bar. And I don't, and you don't, sis, go below that bar for anybody. And so for me, the first steps of just seeing me, I didn't see me. I knew how to be his woman. I knew how to be my son's mother. I knew how to be the community's activist. I knew how to be my family's, my family's source of energy. I didn't know how to be me for me. So the first thing I did was I got in the mirror. You know this. I always do this exercise first.
Wow.
It's not for lack of exercises. It's because this is 0. If loving you is 1, then this would be 0. So I got in the mirror, and I recommend you, sis and brothers, get in the mirror, complete these 3 sentences. The first sentence, you look in your eyes and say, I'm proud that you. Find 7 different things to be proud of yourself for, because we're under-celebrated. But you're under-celebrated because you don't celebrate yourself.
Right.
The second is the gut puncher. It's going to hurt, but it's going to feel good on the other side. Get in the mirror and say, I forgive you for. Find 7 different things to forgive yourself for. And forgive yourself for things 20 years back, 10 years back, 15 years back. Cut the shackles to blame, shame, guilt, regret, and anger. And then the last thing to do to yourself before you meet the day is make 7 different commitments to yourself. I commit to you that. I will get in the mirror and I'd say, Lisa, I commit to you that today I will only say yes when I want to say yes, and I will say no when I choose and need to say no. When you do that, I did it for 6 months straight, every single morning. But I was trying to save my life. I was diagnosed as clinically depressed. You might only need 30 days, but I would do it no less than 30 days every single day. I'm proud that I forgive you for, I commit to you that. I had to get intimately connected to Lisa. And when that happened, things began to change. So I recommend to my sisters that you begin to do that, because we can serve the world at the sacrifice of serving ourselves.
Powerful. That was powerful. Thanks so much, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Now, a little bit about our brothers.
Yes.
And you as my coach, and I've seen transformation. I mean, we know each other personally for the last 5 months, and I've seen massive transformation. And first thing I had to do for myself personally was to find pieces or myself I didn't know existed.
Yeah.
There's weaknesses that people said, you're weak, but you turn them around, turn them into superpower.
Yeah.
So what do you have to say, what kind of advice to our men who've been trained to be strong, who've been trained not to show emotions?
Yeah.
How do we deal with that? How can we turn that around into our superpower?
Number one, I'd say challenge what you define as strong. Because strong lives in your humility. Strong, true strength, not this artificial strength given to us by society that every man practically is bought into by the grace of God. There are those out there who said, hold on, let me define strength. Strength is transparency. Strength is authenticity. Strength is honesty. Strength is not trying to outrun your past. Strength is looking at it face on. Saying, hold on, let me go deal with you.
Right.
Strength is looking for every corner in you that we're trying to suppress, hide, outrun, outproduce, out-earn, and go, hold on, let me go into that corner and heal it. That's strength. That's true strength. So number one, don't buy society's version or definition of strength. Men don't cry. If men didn't cry, God wouldn't have given them tear ducts. So the fact that you attach full expression, and I'm not saying cry in an emotional outburst where there's no control, but to allow a tear to flow, I dare you challenge my masculinity. Your masculinity isn't attached to your feelings. Matter of fact, the more you have the ability to express your feeling, the more you're standing in your masculinity. And so we've created these artificial versions of feminine and masculine. And then you have shrunk yourself as a man to fit into the box that society has defined as masculine. So when you're born free to express, free to speak. When you're 5, you're telling the world how you feel. When you're 6, you're telling the world how you feel. Somehow when you get to 10, you're told, don't tell the world how you feel because that's not masculine. And then you begin to turn everything inward. Thus, men becoming less healthy, men dying before women, men having more anger, all the things that don't work for you.
Right.
And yet men sign up for it every day. I say, don't sign the dotted line. Redefine your masculine. And look at men who are really masculine. They're able. I mean, we have leaders, a few leaders that you see who can fully express. And so I say to my brothers, don't ask what you're thinking, ask how you're feeling. And answer it. And recognize that there are 8 emotions under anger. Society only allows you to show anger, but there are 8 emotions under anger. Under anger is fear. Under fear is hurt. Under hurt is want. Under want is understanding. Under understanding is love and compassion. Under love and compassion are agreements. You get to feel every single one of those feelings, you know, and so explore that. Because when you let that pressure cap off, it's like shaking a Coke bottle, you know, with the cap on. And when you let that pressure cap off, you spew onto other people in one way or another. Let it off easy. And recognize that masculinity isn't measured by your material or your money. It's measured by your ability to have a fully expressed, openly safe relationship and integration with woman, man, children, adults, parents. That's the true version of a king.
Powerful. Lisa, I'm sure our brothers will appreciate this message. Thank you so much for being here in South Africa. You're leaving in 2 days, so we wish you all a safe trip and until we meet again.
Yes, and we will. I will be back.
Will.
This is my other home, and I will be back home. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Lisa.
I appreciate it.